Trying to get my Sunday fresh on. What's up, y'all? Y'all know what it is. It's that Sunday where you sit down with your boy Cuts by Garcia as we talk that barber shit. So I got a special guest. Like I always say, special because they all special. They all come with information, detail to how to grow, how to motivate, how to seek whatever you're trying to get within this industry, how you trying to elevate. It's all about elevation, and I'm on that same stepping stone. So for me to have this time, these moments to sit down with so many of these special guests over the time that I have started this has been everything that I truly was hoping for, and a lot more. So I see my boy right now, Groom City, already jumped on. So yeah, let's do this. Let's jump into it. Let me log him in. All right, my guy sent the invite. How you doing, man?
What up? What up? What up?
Can you hear me nice and clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, how's your Sunday going, man?
Man, Sunday going smooth.
Yeah.
Real. Yeah.
I truly appreciate you taking your time to sit down with with me to for me to ask these questions to get more detail with you about this industry and everything that I was hoping to create with this platform that I have been doing for a while has been truly remarkable. I couldn't really ask for anything more, but for everybody that's been sharing their content, their information, and journey with me, has been delightful. I know a lot of people that hit me up in my DMs or just see me personally and they be like, man, I love what you're doing. This is remarkable. I love how you sit down and let the people share all their information to help me with the road that I'm trying to now jump into. So I just want to say this is almost like for me to like give you guys your flowers to let you guys detail everything that that's markable or how it got you where you at now, and hopefully what you're trying to do new within the industry, and give more people reasons to check in with you, maybe the same way like I did, and ask you for advice and ask you on your opinion on this on things. So I know when people hear the word talk your barber shit, they kind of
Yeah.
think like in a negative form. But no, it's just like for me, like I said, when I was in school, and everything got shut down, it was a way for me to connect with my peers. And then once I started doing that, they started, letting me know to connect with this person, see, let them come to your platform and talk. And it just became so much more. And then I got a chance to sit with so much markable more people in the industry that, have been doing it for 20 plus years to have their voice come to my platform. And, I'm just trying to see how far as I could take it for like I said, for people coming out of school and maybe having a rough patch and trying to maneuver within this whole new era of we still in COVID in some way form, but just trying to like start off differently with not some people wonder if like if barbershop is the still the perfect outlet for them to start their career, or should they just go straight into a their own salon and just give me your opinion, your knowledge, and just go from there. But it's just two people right now just talking and just sharing our your journey and my journey, and chopping it from there. So first off, introduce yourself for people that may already know, but people that don't already know you.
So first of all, thanks for having me on your platform. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. For those who don't know, I go by Groom City on Instagram, but my name is Tiari. I've been a licensed barber, I think, since about 2002. But I've been a barber. That's been my profession since 2000. And it's just something that I just fell in love with. I have a twin brother. He started off barbering before I did,
Okay.
and like I don't know, just going by the barber shop. Sometimes I would pick him up, drop him off. Just the vibe was right, and the owner, he wanted both twins in the shop, and he just came at me, and I was just like, I didn't have much going on, so I was like, bet, and that's how I started barbering, and it's been like 6, 7 days a week ever since 2000.
Now that's cool. So you guys like the double mid twins up in the barbershop, just killing the game, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I want to say we probably worked alongside each other for like maybe 7 years, maybe 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
So is he still a barber, or he's done with the industry?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's out in
I'm,
barbershop,
I'm sorry. Say that part again.
barbershop out in Houston, Texas, right now.
Oh, okay, okay, nice, man. So just your brother, and as far as like taking it forward with the whole industry of barbering, and or your family comes from like salon and all that.
Nah, like I used to always see my mom doing hair, like braiding hair. That's something she did as a kid, and I'm just doing hair. But like I didn't really grab it from her. You know what I'm saying? Like just as a kid, I always wanted a fresh haircut, and my
Yeah, yeah.
parents really never really like had, I guess, the funds to really keep us in a barbershop. You know what I'm saying? Like twice a month. So
Okay.
like my uncles would take us, and every time they would take us, like it'd be like for me, speaking for me, it'd be like the best experience. Sometimes like because we grew up in Michigan when we was younger, so like we'd go to like different basements, different barbershop setups and basements. So
Yeah.
it's just like just being in the community. When you go get your haircut, you see like a different part of the community. You kind of see how it moves. You know, it's a different movement than you would just see just as a kid. So it was pretty dope.
Yeah.
So that's been like that's how we got introduced to like barber culture, out in Pontiac, Michigan. Just different. I remember my uncle Ananias took me to a barber named Smoke. Then I remember my uncle Carlos. He would take us to the barber. I forget the guy's name, but he was an older gentleman with like the hat, with a bunch of pins on it. Like he probably was in like the military or something. And I
Yeah.
remember skills, old man, and he had skills. So I just remember that was the first time I got a razor edge up with a
Okay.
straight. Yeah,
It's funny that you say that because when I was a kid, in my early teens, my mom, she would always get her hair done. She would get the individuals, and or after a while, she would get like a piece to put on because sometimes she didn't like really doing her hair, so she would get like a wig and fix it up and style it the way she wanted to style it. So, and then I had a cousin of mine that, she never went full time to get her license, but she knew how to do braids. Like everybody would hit her up for braids. So when my mom was getting her hair done by her, she would always ask me, "Oh, can you help me untangle the braids? Can you?" So that's like, I guess my first stage of like, being, I say behind the chair, helping my mom out. And then later on, like you said, jumping from barbers to barbers, trying to find that right barber to cut your hair. And then sometimes when you find that right barber, something happened where, they have to leave and then you have to start that journey all over again. And I picked up some clippers on my own. My dad had some, so I would mess with his, but then I eventually bought my own. So, you're testing out your own head and, you go through that trial and error moment where,
What age were you when you
when
started
I,
testing? What age were
um,
you?
shoot, I honestly would say my ninth grade year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would play around. I would still go back and forth because it was like certain styles I would see it like students would get, and I'd be like, I know I can't do that, so let me try to find a barber. But like this low phase or whatever, I would just do that on me, and then eventually like I just completely just went on my own and just started cutting my hair, just period. But I always would hear people tell me like, "Have you ever thought about being a barber?" Because they would see me cut my hair and stuff, and I'm like, "Nah." I just didn't have that passion at that moment. And then I'll always hear that bell ringing, but I was into fashion. Like I still, trickle in and do fashion here and there, but that was like my love. Like, and it's funny now that I'm fully into the barbering, but I still feel like everything that I learned from being a designer trickles into me being a barber. Like just learning the technique of how like I'm a person that actually cuts and sew. So to
Oh,
learn how to cut the pieces and make sure everything lines up the way it needs to line up, so the attachments can come together once you apply everything together to get that full development of a shirt or a t-shirt or a jacket. I feel like that experience helps me to learn how to, because I'm very detailed when it comes to cutting. And some people be like, man, I love your cuts. But I just feel like I'll be in this chair for a long time because I know you like so detailed.
yeah. It,
So, how was that? How was your journey from like, when you first started being behind that chair?
it was unique because the barbershop I came from is out of Pasadena. It's called Just in Time, and it
Yeah.
was busy. Like definitely the busiest barbershop in Pasadena. But like the way it was a commission based shop, but the way Chuck Walker had it structured, it was like sink or swim, you know? So like not knowing how to cut and just kind of thrown in that environment, it
Mm-hmm.
like I like had to figure things out in a fast paced environment, you know? So it was like I don't know, it was just a lot to process at that time, you know, especially being 19 years old. It was like a lot to process. And it was in a good way because it was never a dull moment. Um, it was always seasoned barbers around you. So like just based on osmosis, you know, you was gonna get good fast, you know.
Yeah.
And whenever I had a challenge, Chuck Walker will always sit there and help me out with the cut. Like literally walk away from his client
Mhm.
and be right next to me and help me out with the cut.
Yeah.
This took place probably like 3 or 4 months. So it was just a lot going on. But once it clicked, it clicked. Then he told me to go to barber school. Basically, it was like a hazing process,
Okay.
like unlicensed, you know, just jumping in there. You know, he had a professional environment. Like I said, I had a receptionist. It's commission based. You get paid by check. And here he is allowing young, unlicensed barbers in there inside a professional environment where, you know, the type of work that we was dishing out was basically student quality.
Mm.
And that was something that Chuck, I don't know if he had that system going on before, but that was just a system that he allowed for me. And it was pretty dope. You know, and once I figured it out, went to school, got my got my license, I was already set, ready to go, you know.
That's another thing I definitely want to touch back on. The experience of like people that don't have a license and they're working at a shop. But before that, I get to that question, when you was in the shop, and that's just because I had that same experience. I was licensed then, but I was still wet behind the ears. There was still a lot of things. I felt more
So you
comfortable.
said license
Hmm?
first? Like you was licensed or you was unlicensed?
I was licensed when I started working at a shop.
Oh, okay.
So still being wet behind the ears, and I was like the school that I went to that was in Torrance. The area is more dominant, like straight hair. So I
Yeah,
felt more comfortable doing straight hair than I felt doing like my own, like our hair, like coarse
yeah,
hair. And when it came to like that very detailed like blending, I felt like I was like still leaving like a hard line and all that stuff like that. So one of the guys that I was working with, well, two of the guys that I was really close with, Pooh and my boy Melrose, um, they would do the same thing. They would be like cutting some their clients here, and then they will see what I'm doing, and then they will come over and then just take my clippers and be like, "No, you need to do it like this. This is how you do it." And in the mix of like everybody in there, but I never felt like I had a pride, like, "Oh, I don't want you to do that in front of me," or "Oh, damn, like this is what my customer now they knowing that I can't cut." Like they ain't gonna come back to me no more. Like I was still a student at heart, and I'm like, no, I don't have no problem with you doing that. I want you to do that so I can get better in the long run. So they would do that. Did you ever feel like uncomfortable when you said when your guy would come over there and start cutting?
nah. It was just I was processing so much because the environment busy, like
Hmm.
hell busy. I think it was maybe it was 12 barber stations on the right side, and I think it was 12 salon stations on the left.
Hmm.
So you got women doing hair in front of, you know what I'm saying, in front of you. You on one side cutting hair, you got barbers to the left or right of you. The environment, you know, kids running around, some family environment. So it's young kids, it's people. it's just so much to process. When he would come through, it kind of like will block all that out, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So it kind of was a breath of fresh air. And then seeing, I'm seeing the fade come to life.
Yeah.
So I embraced it. It was like the best thing, it was the best thing because it's like every day I kind of felt like I wanted to quit because I got thrown in there. My
Mm-hmm.
brother had it down pat. I got thrown into barbering just because my twin brother was good,
Yeah.
and I go there all the time. And I guess the owner, I personally think he definitely saw something in me.
Yeah.
And I also the novelty of having twins in his shop too. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
definitely he saw something in me because he was I don't know, the way he's an authentic person. So the way he came up to me and provided, like, the tools and the environment just to succeed. He just wanted me and my brother to succeed. So yeah, when he came through, it was no pride at all. It's no pride now. Somebody come through and show me something that
Yeah.
I'm having challenges with. It's no pride at all. Like, it happens all day in the trailers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that happens in the trailer, and it's all love, because at the end of the day, it's about what's the goal, and the goal is have the customer happy when you're in the shop,
Mhm.
and when you in on set, the goal is to have stuff match and have the character, have it whatever that look is, have it created so it can get approved, and so it's like, yeah, long as we accomplishing goals, I'm with it. I'm
Yeah.
embracing
So I have a two-part question. So I know you kind of elaborated on it, on this question that we're speaking right now, but through the whole journey and before you went to school to be certified and everything, you was working at the shop, and you said like being just thrown into the wolves because your brother was doing his thing, and now it's your turn. Was
it.
it a what if moment where you felt like, yeah, this might be my brother thing, but maybe not for me?
Yeah. I say not even every day. I say like every hour.
Yeah.
Every hour for like 2-3 months, for like a cool summer.
Yeah.
Every hour, because it was like a hood environment too.
Yeah.
So, like, make certain mistakes. You realize the type of customer base you have.
Mm.
So it was like you got that going on. You just got a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot to process. And yeah, sometimes it wasn't like this my brother thing. I wasn't thinking on that. It's just
Okay.
like I don't know. It just you just sitting up there like, yo, I'm really like like I have a client in my chair. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Training to, like, I'm in a barbershop with a client in my chair. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that just happened every day, and now I'm not knowing how to cut. But I know what a good haircut looks like. I feel
Yeah.
like that's if you know what good work looks like,
Yeah.
then it's kind of like how to what the end result should look like. That's
Yeah.
something I out the gate. Just paying attention to, like, uh, music videos and just paying attention to the culture.
Yeah.
I knew what good work was supposed to look like. You know, that's all my brother and myself, all we paid attention to. How you was talking about fashion, we would
Mhm.
just pay attention to just culture. You
Yeah.
know, and when you pay attention to culture, you basically seeing different artists work.
Hmm.
We pay attention to, like, hair. I was a fan of the game early. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I was a fan of the game out the gate, so it's like that's all beyond. And I wanted to finally find a barber that can produce the type of work that we would see. His name was Mike in Pasadena. You
Okay.
know, at Luke Walker's barbershop. And that was like our barbershop, and we would get the type of quality of work that we would see celebrities have. So I always paid attention to celebrities. I always paid attention to that quality of work. So that's what I was working with. I was working.
Yeah.
So when I finally start producing that quality,
Hmm.
oh, that's a high I still get to this day. That's a high I literally still get to this day, when I can still produce the quality of work that I see celebrities have, and I'm doing it on celebrities.
Hmm.
So it's crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you 100%. Especially like, the same way I feel like I was, I threw myself into like an environment where I knew it was, incoming traffic all day. And I remember one particular Sunday when I was at the shop because I used to work on Marrows, and it was me and my other boy that was there, but he had cut somebody's hair and he went on his break, and so another client came in and he was like, I think from maybe Atlanta, and he was like, "Hey, I need a cut," and I was like, "Okay, I got you," but he had tattoos, so he
Mm,
wanted to make sure that when I blended that you could see his tattoo. He wanted that crisp look,
yeah,
and I was cutting in, and I felt like at heart I was like, I got this, I'm doing it. And I gave him the mirror, and he just looked at me. He was like, "Are you done?" And I was like, "Is this like a trick question?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm done." He was like, "You sure you done?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What am I missing? Did I do something? Did I do something wrong?" And he was like, he's like, I can't do it. And he's like, he started getting verbally with me and stuff. And then it was funny because a person on the street was walking by and he heard the conversation. I guess he heard him, him getting loud. He was like, "Nah, man, the cut is nice." I mean, he's like, I hear what you're saying,
yeah.
and I think he said just let him redo it and then cut it up a little bit more. But I mean, the cut doesn't look bad. It was just a regular dude off the street. And he was like, "Nah, this dude from my head," and he just going off. So I was like, "Man, don't worry about it." I said, "I got my other boy here." I said, "I'll let him, fix it for you." I said, "And I won't charge you." I said, "You don't have to worry about me." Because he was like, "I still pay you, but I don't like to cut." And I was like, "Nah, man." I said, "Don't worry about it." And then I had to call my boy. He came back, fixed it up, and he was like, "All right." And then he still paid my boy, but he still wanted to pay me. And I'm like, "Nah, it's cool, man. Like I feel like I didn't give you what you was asking for, so I can't charge you for that." So after all that was said and done, I like that moment right there was like, fuck, like, am I supposed to really do this? Like, is this? So that was like my what if moment. But once I talked to my boy and he like sat down with me and explained the cut, and he was like, "You didn't do bad, but when people have like designs or like ink and all that in their head, you got to cut it a certain way so that could pop off." So he was like, "You didn't do bad. You just needed to be more detailed to the cut." So
Yeah, what year was this?
shit, this was like first part of this year.
Hey, what out of curiosity,
Well, I say last year. Sorry, last year, first part of last year.
what's the price point of y'all haircuts on Melrose?
Well, I don't work at Melrose no more. I eventually went back to the guy that cut my hair as a kid.
Yeah,
Um, um, they had remodeled the plaza that he was at, so he got his shop back. So I went over there. And it's me and him, and he's definitely like a mentor, almost like I say like a father figure to me because he's been knowing me since I was a kid, and he had his shop for like 30 plus years. So like me being on here, I'm really learning the more. Like I learned how to cut on Melrose with my dudes, but now I'm learning more of the business side with my dude
yeah.
and I'm
But
back.
what were they on Melrose though? I'm just curious. What were they charging for haircuts on Melrose?
I think everybody had different price points, but I think like I was charging 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's yeah, I always hear like Melrose prices like could be like $200, for
Probably depending on what shop because there's a lot of barbershops on that
oh,
in that
okay.
area, depending on where you go. But yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
So like I said, that was like my what if moment. But like what would you tell like your younger self right now, like through everything that you have experienced through this whole new journey? Because we're gonna touch back on that as well, what you're doing now. But where you at now, from when you started, like what advice would you give your younger self now to everything you have learned right now?
Man, like I don't know, it sound cliche, but just trust the process.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Just trust the process because mistakes gonna happen. But like, it's part of the process. So just trust it. I'ma always keep going, but just as I'm going, it just seemed like when things happen, you kind of like, oh man, I don't know when it's gonna happen or if it's gonna happen, you know. And I dealt with that, and I'll just tell my younger self, just trust the process. Like, it won't happen. It's just, this is all what you're going through is all part of the process.
Okay. Another thing I want to touch back on, and what you were speaking about earlier, where you were saying that you got an opportunity to work at a shop, learn from the shop, but then you had to go back and get your license, go
Yeah,
back to school. I know everybody road is different, but
yeah.
do you now at this point think the best option for a lot of barbers that's coming in now, should they start off by going to the school and learn everything they need to learn from the school as point of it, and then go into a barbershop, or you think it doesn't make a difference?
I think um, I'm only saying go to school so you can understand sanitation, sterilization, and disinfection. You know what I'm saying? Once you get a knowledge of that, then I think you should be straight in the barbershop. And of course, the work is not going to be what it should be, but I think that that's the best road, and I think that barbers should choose the area that, like, based on the demographic on what they want to make. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you I would say go to the start your career at the area where they making money, where it's a lot of moving and shaking. I would say definitely, however you can, start your career there.
Mhm.
Go to school, learn sanitation, disinfecting, sterilization, and pick a shop or an area where they really get money and where the people around it is growing. It has a lot of growth. It's just, what I'm saying, it's really moving and shaking, and start your career there. That's what I'll say. However you can. So
And
that's
then I know it has trickled down a lot, where a lot of like the state board doesn't really jump into a lot of barbers right now, depending on like maybe the area or whatever. But do you think that good for the shop to allow a lot of people that don't have license to come and work at a shop, and then if a state board come in there and ask that particular person where's your papers at, that could kind of damage that person that's trying to be a barber and get themselves established, and then the barbershop as well.
Yeah, it's those risks. I wouldn't. That's why I was saying I would go to school, strictly to learn that and get licensed. Because right now, especially in California, they took the practical away. So all you have to do is, once you finish all those hours, uh, and they send you a test date for you take your written and your license. So it's kind of easy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, it's easier than it was before. But
Yeah.
yeah, all of that is it's not worth the headache.
Mhm.
It's not worth the headache. And it's a lot of shop owners. They willing to, just like how I got an opportunity. You know,
Yeah.
um, but they got apprentice programs. They had that back
Yeah.
when I was around, but there was no internet. You know what I mean? It was like, who do you like like what do you do? You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? If you're interested in something right now, you can actually Google and get all this information, know where to go, and all of those things. Like, back in '99, 2000, like, what I'm saying? Like, you just had to, just, an opportunity has to come like it came with me, you
Uh,
know. So yeah. So right now, nah, I would yeah, go the correct route. Get your license first and start in the shop.
um, what's your thoughts on a lot of new barbers that are coming out of school and it's going straight into their own private room, their own private suite to start cutting hair? Do you think they're missing out on the opportunity of, like, the barber shop, the camaraderie, the connecting with other barbers, to see other barbers cutting, and then kind of like, seeing like, okay, maybe this is something I want to take from this barber, maybe the other barber I want to take this from the barber, or it's just like, this the whole new. I know people are looking at social media nowadays and celebrity barbers, and now a lot of these barbers are having, their own clientele and their own suites and doing, what they're doing, and they're like, okay, that's what I need to do. I don't need to be at a barbershop. I can just get my license. Now that it's easier for me to, don't even have to take the practical. I can just go get my paperwork and just go to my suite and do it from there. I have social media to help me. I don't really need a barbershop. What do you feel like? Is it something that they might miss, or maybe not? Then they might not miss nothing at all.
I think once you have your license, like I think you shouldn't put no parameters or no rules to really like your goals. You know,
Mhm.
I think you should just go for what you know. I don't think it's really like a recipe out there, you know, and I think that the more rules you kind of put on yourself, the more limitations you create. So I say let like whatever, especially like different business model, because you don't have to be the best barber to make good money in this industry. You know what I mean? Based on skill, it's based on a lot of other things. So of course, skill is part of it, but it's not solely based on skill. The best barber might not be the most, uh, um, might not be the most successful in the barbershop.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So like at the end of the day, I like that the younger barbers have a game plan already.
Okay.
You know, whatever they use in as far as YouTube, as far as different social medias, and learning from what's out there, and then getting licensed and going straight to the business part about it. I think that that's the best. You know, because you're not wasting any time. You're going straight to building up whatever your brand is, whatever exists or whatever your brand is. You know, so I think it's good. You know what I'm saying? I'm encouraging like any new barber to not to not put limitations on yourself. Just
Okay.
because you knew, so what? Just because you fresh out of school, so what? Like whatever you have in your mind, manifest it. You know, it happen quick too. But that person that's putting limitations, that's going to delay you.
For myself, I know that um, I love the passion. It gives me a chance to still be artistic. I'm very someone that loves to, work with my hands. Like I told you, I come from a field of fashion. Now I'm able to, line this up together with barbering. And um, what I enjoy the most is to be able to express myself through my artistic journey with everything I'm doing. Um, but at the end of it, it's still a business.
Yeah,
How do you make sure, like for your experience, everything you're doing with your family, still, doing your barbering, but you're in the other field as well that we're gonna touch on. But how do you make sure that everything that you're doing is business savvy and you're not going out of the, that line? How do you keep your business structure?
that's a good question. Like I haven't been in a barbershop for like the last like 3 years.
Hmm.
So like to be honest, I'm just an employee right now. You know,
Okay.
so I have customers that I do service as far as different house calls and stuff like that. But for the most part, like I'm just kind of like an employee, you know. So I'm just trying to really learn and grow within my job.
Okay.
You know, so at the end of the day, like working film and television is a job. It's a career. You know, it's a career, and each project I look at it as a job. And yeah, so I'm not really I don't like the way I was doing my business is different when I was in the shop. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? I was
Hmm.
focused on those things and, just really focus on now it is like some I am gonna eventually go back to, doing some things because it's some things that I have set up. But
Okay.
right now focus on really really excelling in film and television.
And what I mean by like the business part, because maybe I worded the question a little bit um, in a way that it maybe it sounded like I was focused on like you building your platform, but
Yeah.
that that is something that we wanted to discuss as well. But I mean like financial structure to make sure that at the end of the day, once everything is said and done, and you do decide to walk away from everything or just transition into something else, how are you prepping yourself now with your financial structure for like barbers that are now jumping into this industry and it is grabbing money straight to hand?
Yeah,
make sure that they're financially putting things in order. I mean, whatever you could share, like however,
yeah.
every,
It is. It
yeah,
is a portion of the money I make. You know what I'm saying? Biweekly and monthly, I put away. Of course, I want that portion to be bigger, but I do put a portion of what I make
mhm,
weekly and monthly. I do put it away.
cool. Uh, All right. Do you? I mean, even though now, like you said, you spoke about you working on set and you're doing like a lot of film work and studio work, um, and then the time when you're not doing that, you say you still do like a lot of house calls.
Yeah,
Still use the social media platform to like still let people know like, hey, even though I'm doing this, you can still hit me on Booksy or maybe the cuts and
yeah.
is that platforms that you enjoy using, or you just do like just word of mouth?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I feel every year social media means something different.
Yeah.
So, like when social media first came out, I just feel like every year it means something different. So I personally never really utilized social media for for my brand, for my barbering, for my career, to advance my career. I never use social media.
Okay.
Of course, I use it a little bit, but I've never. It's like I never looked at social media as my main tool to, what I'm saying, to advance my barber career.
Okay.
Um, but I did look at how people are moving on social media, and I try to apply that in real life,
Hmm.
so, and it worked for me. It worked for me. I've never got a job off social media. Even now, well, right now there's production. They like, oh, what's your Instagram? And they want to see your work. So they weren't doing that 2 years ago. That's what I'm saying. Social media has different, it means different things, as the years go by. But anyway, it's like I looked at social media and I seen how people were moving, and I put a lot of energy and effort into social media early. This was in 2015.
Okay.
I never got a client from it. I got actually one client. Got one client from it and never really made a dollar off social media. But I spent a lot of energy and effort. Of course, there's people that try to like leverage their followers to maybe selling things or stuff like that. But I'm just talking about straight barber working in a barber shop. It didn't
Hmm.
really work well for me. So I was just like, you know what? I want to do real media. I don't want to do social media. I want to be part of real media. So I looked at what I seen popular barbers doing on social media, and I just seen how people were, growing their social media platforms, and I was just like, I'm gonna apply that in real life. So instead of posting on my social media, I post up in places. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having a caption underneath my picture, I try to have a caption in my, what I'm saying, when someone's speaking to me, I try to have a caption in
Okay.
my, and um, I'm following instead of following this person because of what they're doing. I'm meeting people in real life, and I'm following with them, and what I'm saying, my network is growing. It's growing. So just how people will grow their following on social media, I did that in real life. You know what I'm saying? And it helped my career. I seen it. I seen it work like fast. So then, of course, that's motivated me to do some more of that. So that's what I do. And it works better for me, and it's been working for my career. But I do want to eventually grow my social media, just because who knows what social media is going to mean next year. And I don't want it. I don't want me, my social media, not have that growth. I don't want to interrupt something that I may have in the future. You know.
Right. Yeah.
So, but right now, I still do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I'm posted up in New Orleans.
Hey, I want to
I
shout
got
out.
to
I also want to shout out Trash that gave me the opportunity to reach out to you.
who
Um,
said thrash. You mean
yeah,
thrash?
Thrash. Yeah, Thrash. Uh, I met him also through my fashion side. We came across each other through a couple, events and stuff, and I was doing a lot of stuff downtown in the location where he was at, where he was, building his
Mm,
stage, his platform, and everything like that. So, when I reached out to him about, the information regarding me trying to get into the industry, figure out how to be a part of the union, the steps I need to take. He told me to holler at you. So
Yeah.
I wanted to say thank him for, lining us up.
Yeah.
And also, like, yeah, let's talk about that. Like, what from my end, like I'm being fully licensed, but we had our small conversation when you was about to jump on the plane. I do thank you for through your time that you try to get on the plane, you try to do what you got to do. You still took an hour or hour and a half to like sit down with me and still like give me some words of wisdom. But
Yeah.
like I said, like I'm going back to school. I'm about to get, take the journey with the whole cosmetology. I think I found the right, institute for me. But tell me like a little, or if you can, explain a little bit more about how does that side of the industry work? Like, what do you need to do for someone like a fresh fish for me to come aboard? And I know like a lot of people say it's very hard to be a part of the union. You have to do so much, but I know with myself and my journey and the passion that I have, I don't have no problem like sticking with it and doing everything I have to do. But tell me a little bit about your journey and what do you like about it?
Yeah, like far as like transition to film and television, especially being a member of the union, it's it's dope. You know what I'm saying? It's dope. It was worth the time, energy, and effort that I put into it. It was worth, especially being in my 40s, and you know having 20 plus years in the shop. This is a cool transition for me in my life right now. But as far as how to get in a union, you can go to any of the union websites and they have it written on how to join the union.
Oh,
It's a tab, you know, and how to join the union. It's simple steps, but like, how do you go from wherever city you are? How are you going from that step to working on a project? That part. If you speak to 10, I spoke to 20 different barbers, I would get 20 different answers. You know what
yeah.
I mean? From, hey, I'm a licensed barber, I'm in the shop, and I'm on my first movie. That right there is different for everybody. I promise. I promise. And that that like I couldn't even give anybody any advice on that. I
Yeah.
really I really couldn't. You know what I'm saying? But like for myself, it took me close to 8 years.
Mhm.
You know, and I worked on my first project in 2012, and I didn't know that you need your cosmetology license. I probably could have worked a little something back then because what I was working on was non-union, and it flipped to union. But I had no mentors. Having a mentor is important. For information and just to mentor you through whatever you're doing. Especially if whatever goals you have, the person that's mentoring you already achieved those goals. It's good to have those. But when you don't have a mentor, it makes it even challenging.
Mhm.
Because you have to get bits of information that people are willing to share from all different parts. So it's all fragmented. And that's what I was working with, fragmented information. And um, what really helped me out was it was a symposium that was given by Stacy, Conrad. Um, what I'm saying? They were in the union,
Yeah.
so I'm like, and DL2 was hosting it. And I was just like, I got to get to the symposium, right?
Yeah.
So $500. And I was like, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. So like the day before, I'm like, I don't really have the 500 to give.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was like dozing off, right? And I promise to you, like, what I'm saying? Like the Holy Spirit was like, so what? Now I don't know if like I don't know if I personally think, it says Holy Spirit, but I know it's probably weird to be like, why would the Holy Spirit put on like your heart to like go in there? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I promise to you, it was like pull up early before everything start, and and you'll be right there,
Yeah.
and you be in the symposium. So that's what I did. I got up to, it was at, dang, what's that hotel? It's on phone. But anyways, I forget the hotel, but it's a, saying, one of those fancy hotels, and they ballroom. They had a couple ballrooms. I got up there early before it started,
Yeah.
and sat there, and I had my camera on my neck. So I'm like, if somebody approached me, I'm like, I'm, I don't know. I'm taking pictures.
Yeah.
So I sat there, and they setting it up. Everything. Once they had set it up, they're like, "Hey, snacks are available," or whatever. Like a lady told me. So I was like, "Bet." I was like, so I was just like, "Nah, I'm not gonna eat no snacks because that's like I
Yeah.
didn't pay." I'm saying I didn't pay. I just need the information today, you
Yeah.
know. So I sat there, and then all of a sudden I seen DL come down the elevator, and I was like, "What's up?" I was like, "What's up, DL?" I was just like, "Man," I was just like, I'm here, like I'm rolling with you." He said, "Bet." So then I'm rolling with him, and then I got into the symposium. I got
Mhm.
the information. I got that one key information. This was in 2015 or 2016. I think it was 2015. No, it might have been 2014. But anyways, that's when I asked the question, like, do you have to have a cosmetology license? Because I didn't know enough people to really confirm that, and they were like, yeah. I immediately enrolled in the cosmetology school. So of course I got a lot of information. I got to see Conrad work. I got the and hear, I'm saying, hear the information he shared. Stacy, hear the information she shared, and I was like, bet I'm going to cosmetology school once I get this license on, and so yeah, and then after I told the people who threw it, and I told them like because they were just like, I forgot how the question was, but I told them like, I didn't buy a ticket, and the lady was just um here, she embraced me, she gave me a gift bag, and was just like you good, like thank you for pressing through, even though you didn't have the money. Thanks for pressing through. So they actually congratulated me for sneaking into that symposium. It gave me a couple back. It was like embracing me. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was like I took that information, and that's what I had. I was like, bet I got a game plan now. Went to cosmetology school. Of course, it had, what I'm saying, ups and downs. Knocked out cosmetology school. Ended up getting a couple jobs throughout that time, and then as the years went by, I ended up getting into the union. So yeah, and I had my license when it was ready to that was part of the process. I had my license.
And that's what I wanted to share. Like every with this whole platform is just I know now, especially with social media, everything seems like so fast paced. Like next day, everything just gonna happen right away. And
Yeah,
the reason I sit down with individuals like you, men and women, to hear their information, their journey, to show other people. Like when I first walked into this new world of this industry, I was I had the blinders up. Like I didn't really have anybody that I could really turn to. So a lot of my journey was like on my own. And eventually, like I said, I started connecting with certain people that gave me information to keep pushing me forward and lining myself up with people that are willing to share and help. So this is like my way to open information for other people to see, like people like yourself, to come on here, share, willing to share, give information, and hopefully not just to build your page some more, but hopefully people reach out. And if you have time, that you can give the information like the same way that you're giving me.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, I think this is what it's all about. This, sharing whatever we can to, because I feel some way, and it's kind of like you see it like some barbers feel like it's not enough money in this industry, so they have to like you know hold everything, and they're not willing to like open and just I'm not asking to get in your pockets. I'm asking you this just
yeah,
put me on the right path. Just say, hey, just the way you going, just keep going. You're gonna get there. But this is what you need to do. This is how you do it. But you're in the right direction. Just keep moving forward. And I think that means more than anything. You know.
yeah.
Like I said, this is dope. I appreciate you. I, I'm. just now journey into the family life. Just
Yeah.
got married, and
Okay.
I know this industry as well can take a lot of your time, and if you allow it, it'll take a lot of your time, especially when you have to deal with customers, your clientele, and the direction you're trying to go, and everything that you're trying to build. And I know the last time we spoke, you told you're a married man, correct? That's what.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that happy wife, happy life is
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's just like working a lot, traveling a lot.
yeah,
It's like lately I would say for the past like 3 years in the pandemic hit, I was at the house. It was cool. But now I'm traveling a lot, so it's like it's an effort more, you know what I'm saying? But I make it work. I
yeah.
make it work definitely, And then seeing my children transition, my son's in college now, you know what
Oh,
I'm
that's
saying?
dope.
Yeah, my
Congratulations.
yeah, she's about to be a senior, so it just things always transition. So like if you got something, if you're like what you got going on or your system, you know, it's working for you right now. Do you have kids? Do you guys have kids?
That's the next step.
Yeah. Like it's a lot of transitions in fatherhood,
Yeah.
so um, being a husband and fatherhood, like marrying the two, you know, you can have it down packed today, but now your son ain't or your daughter's not eating baby food. Now they going to school, so now whatever system you had now you gotta drop them off at school, and then after that, then and then your life is changing, so it's always evolving. It's
Yeah.
always evolving. So it's like you gotta like always stay on point. So it's something you gotta always put energy and effort to. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. Sometimes I hit cruise control and be good,
Yeah.
but everyone's growing and getting older and stuff like that. 'Cause my son's in college right now. It's crazy. And on campus and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? Just, and you still parenting. So it's like parenting someone
Yeah.
19 years old. It's has its challenges. Parenting someone 17, like my daughter is, has its challenges. So it's like, dang, it was a little easier when they was 5 years old, you know.
um, I think we covered so much um, of some of the questions I had, and you answered the questions. Man, awesome! It was. I hope a lot of people that tuned in got a chance to hear a lot of stuff that maybe was on their mind and what trying to do or try or information that they needed to make sure what they're trying to succeed in was right on the straight and narrow, that they feel like they're in the right direction. I always usually close out my these conversations with law of attraction. And I tend to use that daily in my life to make sure that what I see is what I want to achieve in everything that I do. So, for you, what about law of attraction or power of positive mindset do you incorporate that into your business or your everyday life?
Man, that's what I'll be working with, like faith. That's pretty much what I work with, So I'll just come up with some ideas in my head, and like whenever they're big enough where I need faith, I get excited, and then I try to manifest those thoughts or that idea, and it has to be a positive environment to produce that with me. You know what I mean? So it has to be a part, like it has to. So I like being around good people. I like being around people that that add to me. You know what I'm saying? Like far as just you around certain energy, like you up, and then you're around certain energy, it may drain you. So I try to like avoid type of energy that may drain me. You know what I mean? And just stay calm and cool. And stress management is like the best. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you be in environments, situations, it's stressful, and I focus on stress management. Stress management is a big, big thing because like I be so anxious and so anxious. Like a lot of jobs I got, no lie, they'd call me, and then it's like they call me and I got like 2 days to prepare to go somewhere for like 5 months, you know. But like before those calls, sometimes I'm like, I heard about this, I heard about that, you know, and I'm sitting up there and it's like, yo, just relax. So like I be just so anxious to work, so anxious to build, so anxious to just create, and I'm like, so that, but yeah, I need positive and faith is what I work with, like every day, today, tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna use, you know,
Yeah.
straight up. Yeah,
All right, man. I know we had a lot of people that tuned in. I think I've seen a couple of people shouting you out.
yeah.
And if you guys are on, on and you guys have questions, you want to, shoot out a couple of questions, just shoot them out right now. And I'll definitely, if I see it or he see it, we'll answer it real quick. But the people that, if you want to shout out or you want people to know, other things that you got coming up or things you're working on, this is what the platform is about. You can share. But yeah, the floor is yours to do whatever you like to do right now.
I just want to thank everybody for listening, and what I'm saying, me and the good brother chop it up, and man, like uh just to all the barbers out there, just keep doing your thing, and whatever goal you have, try to find a mentor that achieved that, and then okay, I see a question right now. Yeah, right now I'm working on it's a film about George Foreman. So I'm out in New Orleans right now.
Okay.
Uh, since January 17th, and yeah, I'm working on the George Foreman movie. It's gonna be dope. The person that's playing George Foreman is Chris Davis, and man, he's doing this thing. Yeah,
All right.
this gonna be one. So even if you're not a boxing fan, like just the way they shooting is just the way the director's putting it all together. I was able to see a trailer of it so far. They had showed it to some people. I looked around the corner and looked at what they put together to show whoever's attached to the project. Man, it's amazing. So yeah, uh, be on the lookout for that. I see.
That's,
I see.
yeah.
Yeah. When you're gonna start cutting us regular, degular folks. Uh, man, anytime when I touch down, you already got my number. Everybody who I've been rocking with for years, they got my number. So, okay. Next question is, what was I working on before? Yeah, the project I was working on before was Bel Air. So yeah, I was actually the assistant department head for Bel Air. So just what I'm saying, just working with the department head of Roxy and just leading the team. So that's what I like. Me being a natural leader, I want to lead teams, and help create those characters, and you know, so that's what I'm working towards. It's just whatever business I have for the project, and I'm able to get a team together, and we just produce that. Hold
Hey,
on,
I'm not gonna lie. Like when I started peeping
hold on.
out,
I'm trying
uh,
to see. Wait, no, I'm listening to you, but I'm trying to roll it up to see Viola's question. Um, if she could send it again, I don't know why the screen going. So I'm gonna go to Juan's real quick.
okay.
Oh, he should say one. Good looking, Juan. For real, good looking. I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, when I heard that they was redoing the Fresh Prince, I'm old school, so I was like, man, they gonna redo it, how it's gonna play out and everything, and then I was like, I had to give it a minute, and then once we started like I said, my guy at the shop, he started playing it, and then I started watching it, and then I'm like, okay, I need to watch it from the beginning, and
It's
then when I
good.
watched the full season all the way through, I just couldn't get enough of it. It's
Yeah,
dope. I like the lineup. I like the actors. I like the actress. I like how they go so deep in each character, so you feel like you're getting attached to each individual. Like, yeah, the guy, the director, he did an awesome job of recreating, something I grew up on and grew up loving to see where it's at now and how, yeah.
yeah. What you think of the work? The hair.
Huh?
What you
Oh,
think of the work?
Yeah, I mean that man. Everybody's look, everybody's because you look at certain shows and you be like, why do they have that person wearing their hair? Why did they put attachments in that lady's hair? Why did they? But and it's funny now. Now me being a barber and like when I'm watching movies, it's just like it's like I'm always paying attention to people's heads now, and I hate it sometimes. Like I just want
Yeah,
to enjoy the movie. I don't want to be like why why they put so much airbrush on this side but everybody's look, everybody's style, everybody's cut on the show was on point, man. You did a great job. Your team did a great amazing job.
hey, I got to tell you, June 22nd, they drop in Umbrella Academy. I also was a assistant department head for
Too.
Umbrella. I don't know if people out there, this is season 3, but the little bit I seen of it, that's probably gonna be the rawest thing on Netflix. When they,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, trust me, like season 1, season 2 was amazing. Hey, season 3 they outdid themselves. You
Okay.
know, cinematography, everything, acting, storyline is crazy. It's crazy, man. So definitely June 22nd, everybody need to go check Umbrella.
I definitely. I mean, I watched both seasons. I was never disappointed. They have a amazing cast. They the storyline. Whoever's sitting behind them boards writing the storylines, the storyboard, it keeps you want to tune in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
What's crazy about that show? That was the first time where we had all the scripts. Well, we had 9 scripts,
Mm,
you know. So yeah, that was the first time working at episodic where you had all the scripts and we're shooting out a sequence. You know, like it's crazy. It had its challenges in a good way. You know, because like you knew what was going on, so you would shoot because I was up in Canada shooting that. So like because of the weather, we did a lot of the interior shots, you know, during like colder months. And then when it warmed up, we did the exterior shots. Well, we would do exterior shots from like episode 1, episode 2, like later. So you already did a lot of those episodes. You're already on, you know what I'm saying? You're deep into the project. And now that it's warmed up, now you're going back.
yeah.
So not I can't share anything about the project, but the hair was different. You know what I mean? So we're, you know, saying early on they may have wigs in the earlier season and then they don't have wigs later in the season, or they do, or whatever, vice versa. So it had its challenges in a good way, man. It was a really good experience on Umbrella Academy, especially out there in Canada. Toronto is a dope city. Only negative I could say was the pandemic. The pandemic shut down Toronto. I don't know. It will open up, shut down, open up, and it had the border. Like when I first got to Canada, I had to quarantine for 14 days.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so it and it's like all set up through customs. So you had to like go straight from the airport directly to your room. They had to confirm where you're going to be staying, so they know where you at. And then you can only have your groceries and stuff sent up there, knock and just leave them at your door. So you have to be 14, 24-hour days in your room, and you have to like clock in on an app, you know, and you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It was a crazy situation. So yeah, like after like 10 days, I was like, yo, this is too much. And as soon as the 14th day was up, I
Yeah.
was so it was like it was that's the only negative I would say is COVID. COVID put a challenge, you know, filming, then you know, being out of your country.
Yeah.
Other than dope, Toronto, dope city.
Uh, to trickle back on that, like when during the whole 2 years, like was it really hard for you? How was it like? I know out here, a lot of shops had to close down, and the whole layout of the setup for barbers not being qualified as an essential service, and it's not something that they feel like it was necessary to still for people to go get a haircut and I know a lot of shops and a lot of barbers suffered during that time.
Yeah.
How it for you, like you doing a lot of film work and Was you still able to have certain gigs going on, or you just had to just go cold turkey that whole 2 years?
Hey, to be honest, the pandemic was like, it was hard for me to complain about it because it was just a straight blessing for me.
Okay.
Straight. I was working on The Harder They Fall, one of the dopest movies, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I know.
Also, I worked for, I want to say 2 weeks, and then the pandemic hit, so they shut down. And
Yeah.
shout out to Netflix. Netflix took care of us for a decent portion of the pandemic.
Okay.
While
Wow.
down, I was still attached to the project, and they were still um, taking care of us who was attached to the project. So yeah, shout out to Netflix for that. So yeah, so I was like, I was able to sit down and really relax and decompress, and um, all of the uncertainties and all of the information, all of the misinformation, everything, I was able to just relax. So I actually signed off. I wasn't really fooling with social media. I know a lot of different uh, podcasts and different platforms grew because everybody's at the house on social media. I wasn't on social media because it was a lot of information being shared about the pandemic. I didn't want to hear that. So I was actually out in the backyard gardening. I actually was just house
Yeah.
with the fam. I was watching movies. I was just just actually resting my mind.
Yeah.
And then when it opened back up, one of the first projects that period in the US was greenlit was The Harder They Fall. So as
Yeah.
soon as it opened back up, I
That
was in New
that
Mexico
movie,
filming.
man. Yeah.
And it was crazy because I was able to see before pandemic the protocol. You know what I mean? Just being in
Yeah.
the industry, protocol just was what it was. It was normal. Everything's normal. Returning, where I gotta wear, so much information. Like I said, so much misinformation. Like I had to have a full blue plastic suit on, like like everything, like gloves, like 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 fully covered.
Mm.
Then I only had 15 minutes to work on the actors. You know what I'm saying? Because they wanted to limit the amount of exposure. And
Correct.
then after that, you're on set, 6 feet apart outside. You couldn't even sip water under your mask, um, because people didn't really know how the virus reacts. So just to make the film complete and to limit the amount of positive COVID cases, they weren't taking no chances. So it was like, imagine working with your team and you have to be 6 feet more apart. So like, we're not used to that. Of course, everyone got used to having social distance and stuff like that, but that had its challenges. It had its challenges, especially when you just previous, I'm saying before that, everybody's working. We being close. So it's close spaces and stuff. So yeah, it was crazy. It was a dope experience though, because the script is amazing. The actors doing their thing. The director doing their thing. Each department doing their thing. So it was a dope experience. But like, to work at the height of the pandemic it was
Yeah.
great. But we put out good work, man. My mom watched that movie like 9 times. That I literally, like, my mom loved that movie. Like, she loved the character. Shout out to RJ. While we were watching it at my crib for the first time, it was her third. My first time, I FaceTime RJ.
Yeah.
Like Jim Beckworth. So I FaceTime. My mom got a chance to see him. That was her favorite. It was just
Yeah.
crazy. What happened? Her favorite was the actor that I worked on, and that me and him became cool. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope, man. So yeah, biggest Harder They Fall fan is definitely my mom.
I gotta line my mom up with yours because she watched it. Her and my dad watched it a few times as well. I don't know if it was 9 times, but they probably a little bit close to it.
Yeah,
But
I love that movie. Yeah, like,
yes. Oh
to
yeah.
go question. What's up?
No, say that again. I didn't hear you.
Just to go back to your question. Like, yeah, the pandemic to me was like, it was like I said, I cannot complain. I cannot complain. Like, literally, I can't complain, man. Everything happened. Everything. Like my career, like took off during the pandemic.
Mhm.
It's weird, but that's the truth.
I, I mean, I felt like the same way. It gave me a because I think right no because I was going through a lot as well right before the pandemic hit because in 2016 I was with a company for a long time for like almost 12 years, and then they was letting go of a lot of their staff, and then after that I tried to go heavily into my clothing. I did a fashion show. During the pandemic, I made a shirt that got televised, got national coverage, was on the news and all that stuff, and made it to the NBA bubble.
Uh,
Um, it was
what
called
your
American. I'm sorry.
what's the name of your clothing brand?
This is abbreviation of my name. It's Garcia Collection.
Okay.
Yeah. So Donovan Mitchell from the Utah Jazz wore my shirt in the bubble. It had all the names of the people that went through police brutality, everything that was going on. On the front of it, it said "America has failed us again." And yeah, like I said, I got a lot of notoriety out of that. But to everything else that you're trying to do to build a platform to build your business, as far as like just trying to make weight of like bills, money, trying to do it and then go exactly the way that I hoped. But I still love it. It's something that I will never turn my back on. It was a piece of my personality. But like I said, a lot of people was like, since you cut your hair, people always ask you to cut your hair. You ever thought about being a barber? And then my wife now, that was my lady at that point, she brought it up too. She was like, you ever thought about, getting your license and being a barber? And, I have a friend of hers that's also in the industry, worked on a show called Claws and some other shows, and yeah, they told me, if this is something that you feel like you can do, you feel passionate about it, go for it. And you know, that's when COVID hit, and a lot of the being in class and being around people and cutting hair and learning. I was stuck at the house. I didn't know if the schools was gonna open back up. I didn't know when the schools was gonna open back up. Um, it was a lot going on, and I just felt like everything that I was like trying to move forward with was like almost like another door closing, opportunity closing on me. But yeah, it gave me a chance to just to sit back, reflect on myself, reflect on what I want to do, how I want to do it, how I want to make a step for myself in this new journey that I'm doing. And like I said, this is where this Talk Your Barbershop came from, is because like you said, a lot of people start building like podcasts, and I was like, yeah, like I don't get a chance to talk to my peers I was at school anymore. I want to see how they're doing. I said, hey, let's get on the live, let's chat. And we all started chatting, and then it just went from there to now me sitting and talking to you. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I put it down. It's crazy because like film and television, like I've been working like crazy. The pandemic was like the only really break I had. But other than that, like soon I got in the union, I just been working. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if you know I had a podcast. I started a podcast in
I
2017 called the Cut Game Radio Show.
never do. You got you
Man,
got, you got to
I
send me
had
the link.
I had, I had an early drop on the podcast situation. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I ended up publishing like 50 episodes.
Oh
You know,
wow.
and like it had I had so much energy involved because we filmed some of them. It
Hmm.
was like working 15, 16-hour days.
Okay.
With time and stuff. I had to put it down, but podcasting is something, definitely a passion I had at one point for sure. So,
Hey,
man,
get back
ever,
into it, man.
yeah, if you ever want to check it out, the Cut Game Radio Show, like I said, it's 50 episodes published on all the platforms.
We
Apple.
got to start it back up.
Yeah, that's what what's crazy is I got like a whole studio in my garage, and
Yeah.
I want to start it back up like every other month. I want to start it back up, but I haven't. But when I do, Like that's one of the things when I finally like complete what I'm doing. It's a lot of stuff I actually got going on behind the scenes, but that's one of them too. You know what I'm saying? But I have the time to dedicate to it, and you know what I'm saying. So I won't spread myself too thin.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, but
But
yeah, check
send
out
me,
the cut.
send me that link.
Just type it, Cut Game Radio Show, whether on YouTube, uh, like the Apple Podcast, it's still active. All the episodes are still there. You know, they actually like, is people still like subscribing? It's crazy.
All
It's
right. Well, I'm gonna be the new subscriber right now.
bad, bad, yeah, bad.
But hey, man, I appreciate you sitting down with me this morning. Well, it's morning for me, but like
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
but um, I wish you nothing but the best. Do everything that you're doing out there. You know, keep creating these wonderful brands that you're creating. Um, I love everybody that joined in, that spoke and spoke highly of you, and that lets you know that you're doing something wonderful out here, man. And keep pushing and keep setting this stone that you're setting for us barbers and new barbers that's coming in the game. And I'm gonna republish this and set it out. I'm gonna take snippets from this and keep putting it out there so people can tune in and hear
yeah.
what you say. But this is what it's about. Like I said, me giving your flowers for everything that you're doing, and thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule today and before to sit down with me and give me all the key information that you gave me. It means a lot.
Uh, Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for your platform. You know, being a guest, I appreciate it, man. I really do. I
Yeah.
really do.
All right.
And
This ain't the last of us, so
career and blessings to your career. And man, I'll see you. You know, like you said, you pursuing film and television too. So hey, I'll see you out there. You
yeah,
know.
you see me soon. All right, man. Thank you, man.
All right, brother. All
All
right,
right.
peace.